What's more important, skillful musicianship or great performing?
Mark teaches music.
Bang, tick, bang, tick, bang.
Have fun, be awesome.
Hi guys, this is Mark Black. This is my channel, Mark Teaches Music, and this is our weekly Q&A to play and sing. And so this is episode 81, which is always amazing to me. So this is about getting people to play and sing. Da-da, da-da. So I'm convinced that you can make the music you love, and you can get skillful, and you can just 99.9, really 99.99% of all the people in the world can learn to be way better than they ever thought. So we're looking in these sessions to work on skill and technique and reading music and music theory and performing issues and country bands and praise and worship and orchestras, leading those or just being in them. So put your questions in the comments right now. I actually have this open. Hey, TDB. Put your questions in these, put your comments, put it in here, chat, and I'll give it a whirl. And so it's usually pretty good answers. So we're talking about any style, any level. Yeah. And, voice, guitar, piano, bass, sax, woodwinds, brass and strings and music theory and songwriting and composition and orchestration and arranging and rock and blues and country and try to think of something stupid to say that nobody does. Indonesian nose flute playing. There's also Hawaiian and Indonesian. Issues with performing by yourself, how to practice, how to improvise. And so I want to help you fix the things that are holding you back. So bring all your questions and we'll learn amazing things. And listen, guys, you can be amazing. I really believe it. So anyway, last week we talked about how to overcome stage fright, developing performance skills, personality in your practice. Can't overemphasize that. I know it sounds dumb. It's like, how could that be important? I am who I am. It's just that who I am, who I is, who I be has good things and bad things about it, each one of us. And so some of them lend themselves to certain, you'll go to a certain kind of music, certain kind of people play this music. You go to a certain instrument, certain kind of people play this. Just as an example, the bass, most people who play the bass, not all. I mean, there's Victor Wootens, there's a whole bunch of people, but most people who play the bass, for example, want to play well, amazingly, but they want to be in the background. They want to do this great job supporting and being over there, but they don't want to be standing out in front. Check me out. There's always exceptions, but that's just talking about your personality. So we talked about that. We talked about making use of all three ways to learn music. We talked about breath support, the wave. We talked about funding your notes with breath, why you should like, subscribe, and comment. You could do that right now. And taking online lessons or in-studio lessons with me. And if you're interested in that, go to mark@dallasmusiclessons.com. That's, email me. Or you can put a thing in here and say, help me, I want to play better, I want to sing better. Or you can just go to my website at dallasmusiclessons.com for more info. And we talked a lot about different notation systems and their weaknesses and strengths. So we talked about tab, we talked about full written, everything written out. Classical would be the stereotype of that. Chord charts with just letters, no notes, no tab. And we talked about lead sheets and reasons for the fact that the voice is actually a whole lot more difficult than you think. Now, anybody can sing. Your mama can sing, your mechanic can sing, your lawyer can sing, probably. Not well necessarily, but they can sing happy birthday. But to get better at the voice, it's got two specific problems, which I talked about last week. So anyway, it's really interesting that something that's as natural and pervasive as singing or the voice would be something that could have issues. So and then if you're watching this after the actual live stream, be sure and post in the comments here any questions you have. You got comments, but right now I'm talking about questions like I don't understand. How do you play the Hawaiian nose flute? Well, I could tell you, but I don't want to do it right now. So anyway, I'm just saying, send me a question and I will answer it. And if I don't know, like if you ask me how did at the offhand I can't tell you Scriabin's mystic chord, I'll just say I don't know, and so don't worry about it. But give it a shot. So the first thing that we're going to talk about today that's come up in lessons and really in the last 2 weeks. The first thing is performance versus skill, which is my leading question. And which is more important, to perform skillfully, to be skillful, or to play skillfully. Boy, I'm so great, or to be a great performer. And those are actually separate things. And so you have, and just by the way, there's dozens of them. And if you think about it, you probably know some. It also depends on your personalities, whether you're hip on that. But the point is some of the best performers, and most of the best performers, like get a crowd excited, if it's great, we're all engaged. A lot of those guys are not the best musicians. And then conversely, a lot of the best musicians are not great performers. Not saying all of them. And then, of course, what we want to do is to be both things. We want to do both things at once. We want to perform amazingly, engagingly, grasping the audience and pulling them in. And then we also want to be really skillful in what we're doing. And, of course, if that's what you do consistently, then you ain't got no problems, do you? So, but while we're working on that, and we have to decide, or it's an interesting thing to think about, what is more important? And the answer is performing is actually more important than skill. If we had to choose, the idea, and I'm going to talk about, what performance is and what the ideas that are there. So one of the things is that what the listener wants is they want to be swept away. Your audience, any audience, you want to be swept and kept in an amazing musical world that brings emotions, and you could get away from your troubles, get away from your life. You can feel, it's epic. Things are powerful. It's powerful. It's fun. It's truthful. It's full of grandeur. These are all different words. You not want to be worrying is that guy, can he hit his note, or can he play this really hard thing? Like I say, I've got piano here, piano. Can he play that? So the most important thing is keeping that listener in that world that you're creating. And so to do this, sometimes you have to choose, especially when you're having trouble with a little passage or a whole song. So if you have to choose, you choose to perform. You choose to repeat that verse because you forgot the second verse. You do the first verse again. You choose to ignore that wrong note or wrong chord. I was in the Meyerson listening to Christopher Parkening. Oh my gosh, it was 20, what years is it? It was 30 years ago. A classical guitarist, used to be the main man in America for classical guitar. Anyway, they're playing this piece. He's playing, and they get this big space, and he goes, and he had his hand one half step too high, and so it's so big, and nobody stopped. He didn't stop. He didn't flinch. Just kept on going. And then the point here is that 30 seconds later, you were wondering yourself, did he make a mistake? Because it's like, well, nobody did anything. They just kept on going, and they kept the mood going. So that's your biggest goal. If we had to pick one thing, it would be that. Again, we're trying to do both things. Become skillful, masterful, but at the same time we're performing. If we had to choose, though, we would do things like this. So performing could be defined as not stopping when you make a mistake, being interesting, being engaging, being dramatic. Now, some of you people are not into emotions. You say that, but I'm not saying that you're really emotional, but I'm saying not being emotional is an emotion. Being stoic is an emotion. It's a zero emotion, if you want to look at it that way. I don't think it's that way. But so everybody, I just want to say, you have no songs on your playlist that are not moving, gripping to you in some way. They're gentle, they're exciting, they're powerful, they're epic, they're funky, whatever. They move you in some way. They make you puff your pipe. Yes. They make you dance, whatever they do something. And that is the bottom line. I'm talking about it being dramatic, talking about it being interesting. And performing could be described as focusing on the audience. What are they doing? How are they responding? And it's the 30,000-foot view. Now, again, I want to say that there's people listening, and you're thinking, well, I just playing my garage. I ain't never going to be out in front of people doing stuff. And that's fine. And listen, just by the way, I was born in Alabama and raised in Mississippi. So if I talk with an accent, it's because I know how to. All right. So anyway, you may feel like I'm just playing for myself, but and I'm not saying that you need to play in front of other people necessarily, but the way that you play, the way that you want to play is like the album, is like the performance. It's the 30,000-foot view. Performing is the 30,000-foot view, and you're not sweating the details. You can't, unless you have got both things mastered, the skill of it as well as the performance aspect. So you're looking at the big picture, and you're assuming, as these are ideas about performing. In performance, you're assuming that all your work in the past and you're practicing your detail work, that's worked. It's been accomplished, and you don't have to think about it now. You can think about what's actually happening, what's actually going on. And performing could be defined as, or a part of performing is moving and expressing things with your face. Now, I'm thinking of, oh gosh, his name is falling out of my head. Cliffs of Dover, amazing, incredible guitarist. And many people, when they play, Larry Carlton and that guy, Cliffs of Dover, whoever it is, when they play, they're playing, and it's like, his face is the face, And that is a visual presentation. Now, they're presenting, I'm concentrating, this is epic and important, like that. So I've never seen anybody who's good perform like this, just dead. So anyway, again, ideas about performing. Connecting with the audience, like I said, and then just, by the way, the last thing about this performing, or almost last, I think, I can't tell, but is that when you're performing, you need to make it look easy. You need to make it look easy, sucker. And so it doesn't matter how hard it is. It's like, or how high or difficult the note is, or the passage. It's got to sound and look effortless, because that keeps the audience in the groove. And again, if the audience is your mama, you're just playing for your mama, that's fine. You're playing for yourself, that's fine. You know that what you want to happen is, don't think of it as, I don't want to make a mistake, although that's very good, but think of it like, I want to be convincing. That's performing. So you're not just showing skill, you're transferring confidence to your audience. So keep them in that groove. And if we had to have a hierarchy, performing, keeping them in their zone, transferring confidence, keeping them confident that they can just listen and enjoy. Oh, that's so, like that. That's the coolest beat. So keeping them in the groove. If you have to pick performing. All right. So check it out. I switched pictures. Am I not cool? I know, I know. So, no, so the second thing is, this is the opposite thing. So in your practice session, you're working on a song, and so I just got through saying perform, so it's like, whoa, big picture, oh, I forgot the ending, or I missed two notes in the thing, whatever. That's fine. So in your practice, though, when you're working on a song, now there's other parts to practice other than working on a song, several other, two general areas. But when you're working on your song, how do you get good at your song? Well, when you're working on a specific song, we got the 3,000-foot level. We just talked about performing. You should do that every day on your songs. Like, here I am, I'm doing it, beginning to end, including if it's a big piece or you haven't gotten through or you're not got good yet. You would say, okay, I'm performing, a third of the song, one page, or the chorus or whatever. That's fine. You're used to, it's like, this is happening like it's real, because real life, and people, if I had an audience. But the other part of getting good is practicing, which means is opposite. And I just talked about the 30,000 foot view. I hope I said 30,000 foot, but practicing is the microscope view, the 1 foot view. It is, just super detailed view. And so you are stopping, you are fixing things, you are nitpicky, picky. That's what you are. And you need to do that with your songs, because you got to fix errors. And remember, because some errors bump your audience. A 20% error in a song is going to bump your audience out of the groove. They're no longer with you. So you got to get good. And to get good, you need to focus on the details. Now, again, this is as opposed to performing. I just thought there's no one answer for the world. We're just have to can't say everything's like the Bible. God couldn't say every time he talked about love, this is everything about love right here. Every single time he said the word love, it's like the full definition. The Bible would be, as I think John said, all the books would fill the world. So anyway, the other opposite of performing is practicing, which is investing in the details. So now, to learn a song, you're investing in isolating and correcting difficult sections. And that's an investment. I want you to think of it as an investment. And that investment, I'm going to encourage you, that investment builds up over time. So, and it should accumulate until you are good. So set aside some of your precious time to get better. Set aside some of your precious practice time to perform, some of it to get better. And that would mean that we're taking, and here's the song, and you say, well, I stink here. And in the beginning, you may say, hey, it's better to say where I'm doing good. I'm doing good right when I open the page. There's no other good places. So that's fine. So anyway, so you're looking at the places you're doing. You have 6 places you do bad. You're not doing well. And so you're isolating. I'm telling you to isolate them. Work on them. And then maybe there's 3 measures. Or maybe it's, let's say it's 3 measures. And you work in it, you start on it, and my gosh, you cannot do it. And so you shrink and you say, well, let me look at, there's 3 measures, let me look at each one of the 3 separately. And you work on measure 2, and my gosh, you can't do it. So you separate it into 2 beats. So this is micro detail. Remember I said this is the microscopic level. We had the 30,000 foot performing. Now we got the microscopic 1 foot level. And so think of this as like investing in your own life. If you took, and what we all should be doing, I'll have to do that myself, but every paycheck you put aside $200 for retirement or for a new house. And you're not going to touch that money for 20 years. And you keep doing it and you keep doing it. And at first, that investment that you're making, it's really not much. It's a year later and it's like, it's $2,400. Like, well, what can you do with that, But if you keep doing that and investing, almost a useless amount, but it keeps getting more and more over time, you can retire on that, or you can buy a house, or you can do both. So the first song might require you to do, like I just said, you're having to detail work on 40 measures out of an 80 measure song or 20 measures or whatever. And it's like, my gosh, this is so hard and this is so laborious. But by the 50th song, and I'm talking, that's 50th song, what is that? I should have said 20th song, whatever. So it's like, what is that? 3, 4, 5 months, depending on what you're doing, kind of music you're playing. But so by the 20th song, it's like, okay, now instead of it I have to work on every measure, or it takes me 20 minutes of working on the song to get anything done. I mean, that's my micros. 20 minutes is 30 minutes. It's like, okay, now it's only 15 measures. It's only 10 minutes, And by the 500th song, and again, we're talking a couple of years. I'm not talking. Forget about the time. I'm just saying, as an example, it doesn't take. You only have to work on 3 or 4 measures because you've invested in working in all these details, and all these details apply to other details. So you work out, you figure that out, and you notice, oh my gosh, that's just the pentatonic. The minor blues scale in reverse. That's all it is. And you're like, oh, so the next time something like that comes up, or you think you want to play that sound, you're like, hey man, that's in me. That's because I invested the time working that out, and I got it. And so many of these things you do not have to do again. You don't have to redo it. And so your investment's going to be paid back. And that's exactly why you dig in and fix those details. It is so useful and powerful for you. And that's exactly 100% how professional musicians develop and become amazing. Now, and just by the way, there is a little sliver, actually more like a third, of musicians who don't even do that. But it's a very small club, and it's hard to get into, and you're born into it pretty much. So that investment of detail working compounds quietly until you're learning songs much faster than before, and have to work either not on them not at all, or you work on them, just relatively speaking, just a very little bit. Okay, so look, I switched. Okay, so, and I've said this a minute ago, in your practice sessions on a specific song, you are doing 2 things every day. You are focusing on the 30,000 foot view, you're performing, you're making the song magic, you're ignoring mistakes, you're ignoring discomfort, you're saying, what if there were people listening to me? I'm going for it, I'm practicing, I'm getting good at that. And at the same day, you are saying, I'm going to fix it, I'm going to stop and repeat things, I'm going to have my microscopic view, my 1-foot view, and I'm investing in getting better. And so we're going to do those 2 things, and it's exactly what you should do. So here's where I need to tell you to punch like and subscribe and share this. Those little buttons that are right down there, you need to get to them. And and I'm going to say again, you should take online lessons or in-studio lessons with me. And you can email me at mark@dallasmusiclessons.com, or you can go to www.dallasmusiclessons.com, and things will be wonderful if you do that. So, all right, now, I wanted to get to, I probably don't, well, I'll take time to do this. So anyway, about learning to comp and, accompany, which is, comp for the cool among us would do the word comping. So, anyway, so you're playing by yourself, you're accompanying your own voice, and you're singing a song, you're accompanying your friend, you're in a band, or you want to have a band. What are you supposed to do on these instruments that don't have a lead part? On the piano as a background, the guitar as a background, not the main thing, the bass, and the drums, these instruments, and there's other instruments, so many musical dynamics going on. But anyway, so how do you do that? How do you learn to do that? So first, we're gonna listen to some songs and talk about them. But so I'm just gonna give you a list real quick. So this is the beginning. This is not the end. This is the beginning. So first, how would you describe this song? Would you say it's a happy song, epic? It's angry. It's busy. It's relaxed. It's peaceful? What is it? I'm not talking about the meaning of the song at this moment. I'm saying, what does the music say without words? That's what I'm going to say. No, not the lyrics of the song. And some people just, by the way, mess with us by having a cheerful sounding song that's really dark, or a dark sounding song that's really happy. So and the words, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know if I said that right. Anyway, so the music sounds dark and the lyrics are happy, and the lyrics are dark, but the music is sad. So I think I said that wrong still. Okay, anyway, so how would you describe the song? The second thing is, what is the beat? What is the even? And a beat is an even pulse, not this. That's not the beat. The beat is, if that was my thing. So, and the even beat. Then, how is that beat divided? How is that beat divided? Is it 2 parts? Is it 3 parts? Is it swing time? These are all things you may know or you may need to know. Certainly, you do need to know. I need to know. And then identifying the meter. Now, meter is not written. Meter is the sound. Time signature when you write it down. But the meter tells you how many beats there are in a measure. It measures repeating unit of beats, so that you can hear it. That's a measure. So the meter says how many beats are in that measure and how are those beats divided. And there's different names for the different meters, but you don't have to know those names to be great at that. So meter gives you the measurement, the guardrails of the music, and then we can identify the groove. Is this a swing? Is it well, I'm going to sing the Star Trek thing. So sorry. So the meter. So how's the beat divided? How many beats are in a measure? And most songs, just by the way, have 4 beats, and the beats have 2 parts. And that is why in written music, instead of 4/4, which is what 4 beats of 2 parts is usually, they just write a C. And several hundred years ago, they figured out, hey, baby, this is really common. So they started writing, guess what? C for common time. So most common time is 4/4. 90% of music is in common time. Now, look, if you are in jazz or you're in metal or you're, what else? Your world may be surrounded in complex meters, 11, 16, and things like that. But if you take all the music in the world, the majority of it, at least 90%, is in 4/4 time. 4 beats, and each beat has 2 parts. So, second thing, or what, 15th thing, the groove. What would be a repeating rhythm now? Not a beat, not a part of the beat, not the meter, but the interesting rhythm. What would be the groove of this song? If you're to sing it, there's something that's happening again, a rhythmic thing that's happening again and again. Where's the strong and weak beats? We could look at the chordal rhythm. Like how often do chords change? Every 4 beats, every 2 beats. And of course, most songs are not going to be 100% consistent because that could be boring. We don't want it to be boring. Yeah, we don't. This is a bilabial plosive. Boring. Yeah, okay. And then listen for your instrument. What is that instrument doing in a generalized way, in an approximate way? Is it fast? Is it slow? Is there a noticeably repetitive rhythm? So let's take a second now and let's listen to some songs. And these are not, these are songs I created for our, what is it? Improvisation, yes. So that, YouTube can't say, I'm ripping off somebody. So let's listen to some songs. And the first song, so let's listen to our checklist to this song. Let's see how loud this is. Yeah. Now, how would you describe that? I don't know, it's kind of epic, kind of a little fun because it's kind of busy, right? Okay, so then I would say, where's the beat? So is the beat? Probably not. Probably too slow. Let's go half as fast. That's way too slow. But probably we'd say the beat is this. Kind of captures, kind of in the middle. They have divisions of that, smaller notes, and then they have longer notes. So how's the beat divided? Here's the beat. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So divided into 2 equal parts. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so that means I know now the little pieces I'm doing. So now, what's the meter? How many beats? Now I think that every single one of these examples is 4/4 time, which it doesn't make me happy, but hey, that's what I got. So, so here I am. I'm trying to say, when do I hear a repeat time-wise, rhythmically? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now listen, that's not bad. You're not going to get hurt if you say 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You're trying to figure out whatever you're doing on your instrument. It's a unit, the measure, repeating. So this is 4 beats and 2 parts to each beat, 4/4 times. Now, a groove. That's repetitive. I'm just saying that. I could be going. So, and I think I said a second ago about chordal rhythm. How frequently are these chords changing? 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, 1. That's right. So it's like basically 2 beats. 1, 2, change. 1, 2, change. That's again. 1, 2, change. It's in the middle of the second beat. Now I've got 2, 3, 2 whole measures. 2 whole measures. 3, 4. This is chordal rhythm. Now, what is your instrument doing? Hear the bass? Dum, dum, dum. The guitar? Pause. Pause. Okay. And just by the way, if your instrument is not in there, what would your instrument be doing? And usually, like there's no piano in this, so usually that also means, I'm just saying that your approach would not be to do what other instruments are doing, because somebody's already doing things. You're looking for something else to do. So, for example, if I was playing the keyboard on that, I would probably try to do something long. I hear a lot of busy stuff, so I'd play something off the slow. I wouldn't slow it down. I got my drums, I got my bass, doing stuff. So let's listen to another song. And I specifically picked some of the less usual songs, just to be just to be weird, really, but it was to make it interesting. So here's one. I think this is a fascinating thing. Again, these are all things I did. So, so the first thing would be, okay, what would you describe that? Is it exciting? Is it boring? I would say the instrumentation has made it pretty unusual, unless you're Indian, So I call this Bollywood Blues. Okay, so where's the beat? It's this. And again, we could divide the beat. We could make it slower. But that probably doesn't capture. It's probably the slowest thing going on. That slow. So we get kind of in the middle thing. We see how many are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And I said all these probably are in 4/4 time. Okay, how's the beat divided? 1, 2, 2 parts. I'm gonna try to do 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. That fit it, right? So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. So then we talked about. So what does that meter? It's 4 parts in each with the equal part. So that's 4/4 time. But you can just say quadruple simple. 4 parts, evenly divided into two. So now the groove. You know, that's what I would say. It's the groove. Okay. Now, chordal rhythm. You know what this actually is? I call it Bollywood Blues because it's basically a blues, just with this rhythm. Two measures. 1, 2. New chord. 1. Again, 2 measures. So most of these chords are changing. 2, 3, 4. It's going to change, right? Yeah. Not supposed to do that. This is 6 beats, 6 measures. Okay. So this opening has got 8 measures. Oh, sorry. There you go. Thank you. That was 2 measures. So that chordal rhythm is going to help you know when to change your chords. All right. And then now what is your instrument doing? Your instrument. Boom, boom. I would call that the bass. Sounds kind of like a tuba, but it's, you know, we call it the bass. So the strings are doing this. All right. Now, let's try another one. Let's see. Let's try. What did you do that? That is so funny. I'm looking at these kind of songs and just, you know. Okay, here we go. Let's try this one. Okay, so now I love this because that's where I'm from. So anyway, cool chords, Mark Black. Okay. Okay, so now here we are. Where's your beat? Is this the beat? Probably that's too fast. Probably want to think 3. How I'm dividing, hear that major 7. So here's my beat. I like this. Oh yeah. All right. So here's the beat, and I'm putting 2 parts. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now how many beats? 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's a pretty cool song. All right. So let's see. How would you describe this? Yes. I would say it's fun and it's got a little mystery to it because of those unusual chords in it. And so let's see. So what about a groove? This is me deciding so. So you see that this is not repeated evenly. Some of these are longer and shorter than each other, and that is not, that's a groove rather than a beat or a measure. Measures, things repeating, change. Okay, now the chordal rhythm. Let's start that back over. So far, changing every measure. Changing every measure. Chordal rhythm. And the ear is listening for a mixture of resolution, constant, every 4 beats is changing, and it's also looking for tension. So there's not a lot of chordal rhythmic tension in here because the chords are changing every 4 beats. Yeah, but see, this kind of messing with your ear a little bit. Not ear, just it is changing rhythms. So let's see, there's one more. Oh yeah, let's just do that. One more. Where's my song? There it is. Check this out. Where's the beat? Is it this? Well, look at me. Okay. Here it is. So where's the beat? I say it's here. Very slow song. Wonderful R&B groove. How's the beat divided? Is it 2 equal parts? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. No, it's 1, 2, 3. 3 parts to this. So this is a compound meter. You don't have to know the name, but it means there's 3 parts of the beat. Swing, a lot of soul music, a lot of jazz music. So, and there's 4 beats, very slow beats. How many beats are in a measure? Watch when it's changing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 beats, not 3 beats, not 2 beats, and each beat has got 3 parts. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay? What about a groove? Now that's, where we're saying what a groove is, the groove is each instrument playing here has got a different groove, more or less, a different part, more or less. But point here, you got to pick, if it's your instrument, if you're playing by yourself, you have to pick how to sum this up. I think I'm kind of on the drums there. That's 3. 1, 2, 3, 1. So I'm just saying, this is your figuring out stuff. So the meter here would be called quadruple, 4 beats with 3 parts, quadruple compound. Or you could just say 4 beats with 3 parts. And then the chordal rhythm is changing every 4 beats. And so that helps you to know when you should change chords. 2, 3, 4, boom. Now, what is your instrument doing? What's the bass doing? Boom. Pretty much on the half notes. He heard me say that. So the guitar is going, mostly just hitting a chord. He's not going chink, he's going bring. This is, how you figure out what to do. Hear the keys? What's the keyboard? He's doing elongated, really just chord tones mostly, or pentatonic-ish scale, but staying in the background. Okay, so let's stop that. Here I go, I'm stopping that. Okay, so that was all about learning to comp. So, and I think we're going to leave our last topic because I don't think we have time to do this. So, so let's see. I'm going to do this real quick. I don't know if I have time to do it. I hope I do. All right. So, all right. Get all this stuff going. Okay. So I'm Mark Black. This is Mark Teaches Music. This is our Q&A to play and sing. This is number 81. And so let's see. What do we talk about? So in your comments, you leave your comments, man, and ask me questions. But I have a question that if you could answer, this would be great for me. So what is easier or more natural for you to do? Practicing, working on details, or performing? So believe it or not, there's tons of people that really get off on and focused on performing. And didn't mean to say that. There are people who are totally focused on practicing, and they never want to play a song. They just want to practice. And there's other people that, of course, and I would say this majority of people, maybe just a simple majority, 30, 60%, they want to perform. And so, so in the comments, leave me in the comments, which, give me a vote. What's easier for you to perform, make the song a whole 30,000 foot view, ignore your mistakes, keep going, or to work and work and work on those details, and and kind of ignore the fact that music is a performing art. That means you should perform. So what's your opinion? And just put it in here in the comments. So, and then, and if you got any questions that we can answer in future shows, just let me know. So let's see what I want you to do. Let's see if I can make this work. I'm not sure I can, but this week I want you to just have a great week. And I want you to have fun, and I want you to be awesome.
Have fun. Be awesome. I said like, subscribe. You know you should. Oh yeah, have fun. Be awesome. Like, subscribe. Have fun. Be awesome. You know you should. Have fun.